These are the San Antonio don'ts. I've been living here for 11 years. I wish somebody told me, don't do this. When you're moving to San Antonio or if you're already here, these are the do nots. Don't do this. This is Trey with the Cavalry Group, broker by Real. Let's dive right in. The first thing, don't just think of downtown. San Antonio has so much in it. Downtown living is not always the best. Don't consider only living in downtown because the Riverwalk is nice, the Alamo is nice, the Pearl is nice, King William is nice, but there is so much outside of the downtown area that you need to consider. So don't just only focus on living in downtown area because there's so much to this city than just the Riverwalk, and honestly, the Riverwalk food sucks. Another San Antonio don't is don't discount the south side of San Antonio and the east side of San Antonio. We all know that the north side and the northwest side is probably the most popular, it's the most sought after, but don't discount the south side. The south side has a lot less congestion, the land is cheaper, there's a ton of great developments, Texas A&M is there, you have Palo Alto College, you have various different businesses that are moving here because the land is cheaper. The master plan communities are very easy to get to. Highway Loop 410 is nice and smooth in the mornings and nice and smooth in the afternoons. It is getting a little more congested than people are used to, but the south side is really, really nice. It's way more space than the rest of the city. The east side. The east side is probably the easiest and fastest, most direct way to get to the downtown area of San Antonio. East side also has a lot of commercial businesses. It has a lot more commercial availability if you have a business and you want to move your business to San Antonio. The east side commercial leases are plentiful. There's so many businesses like Boeing, you have Big Red, you have Coca-Cola, you have shipping, you have Amazon, you have so much that's happening on the east side, and it's very close to downtown. You have I-10, you have all these major streets, you have Commerce Street, Houston Street, that go right into the city. And there's a lot of historic homes and gentrified neighborhoods that have a lot of great restaurants. Another don't is don't just settle for one area without doing your research. There's so many different areas that accommodate different likes that you have in San Antonio. You don't have to settle. If you like living among tourists and you love the Riverwalk and that's what you want to wake up to, then do it. Then live on the Riverwalk. If you want to live in the medical center, which is close to work, if you're a doctor, nurse, doctor, student, then the Medical Center of San Antonio is for you. If you want to live near the military base in San Antonio, I have a PCSing to San Antonio video that highlights very detailed all 4 military bases and what's around it. If you want to live near better school districts, there's certain areas of town that are highly rated school districts. The taxes are a little bit more, but the school districts are definitely worth it, highly sought after. If you want more space, San Antonio is an area where you can drive 20 minutes outside of San Antonio and literally be in the hill country, or you can have much more space in rural counties and really be only 20-25 minutes right into town. If parks are really important to you, you can live in that certain areas. There's a few parks here in San Antonio. There's McAllister Park, which is really, really huge. Right near the airport, you have Hardburger Park, which is on the northwest side. You have O.P. Schnabel, and a lot of these parks are connected to each other, so you can go from the far north side all the way down to the Missions through the Riverwalk. San Antonio does a great job of connecting all these parks, so you can really go exploring and go crazy with the parks. Last thing is, if you want to live near food culture, I know some people really want fine dining and they want to live near it. That's great. So I would recommend by the Pearl because you have the Culinary Institute of America. You have a lot of really delicious restaurants. It's making me hungry just thinking about it. And you have the far north side, which is 281, has a lot of steakhouses. So if food is your culture, then living in those areas is going to be appealing to you, but don't settle. Live where you want. There's so much variety. If you just like breakfast tacos, the south side is where it's at for the best breakfast tacos and the best barbecue. The next don't is don't think that you're gonna escape the weather. The weather is unforgivable and the heat is everywhere. It doesn't matter whether you live on the north side, south side, west side, east side. there's really no difference in elevation. Now, if you live in the hill country, you may be a few degrees cooler, but overall, San Antonio is very flat. Everybody gets the same, and if one side of town gets hail, not always the same thing on the same side of town, but there's really no escaping it. There's no area that gets hail more than the other. It's 450 square miles, and the weather is pretty much the same everywhere. One thing I would highly recommend is hydrate. On a side note, you need to hydrate because the sun is very unforgivable. If you're not from here and you're not used to that Texas heat, it'll creep up on you. Another don't is don't forget the local attractions. There's so much to do in San Antonio. Just to name a few, there's Six Flags and there's SeaWorld, which is huge. And it's very close. People tend to forget about it that live here. San Antonio Zoo really stepped up its game in the past 4 years because in the winter they do what's called zoo lights. Now, it's not your New York City Rockefeller Center, but for San Antonio, it's a really nice place to bring your family and look at all the zoo lights and the animals at the San Antonio Zoo. You can feed the giraffes, you can walk around, it's really nice. And they have a historic kiddie park that's now attached to the zoo. Definitely something great to do, don't just discount it. San Antonio Zoo is a great place. Don't forget about Fiesta. Fiesta happens in April and it's pretty much a month-long celebration. The past 2 years haven't been as active because of COVID restrictions, but hopefully Fiesta will come back this year and it'll be strong. Pretty much the whole city celebrates the month of Fiesta, which is pins and badges and different events all around the city, downtown, north side, south side. Everybody parties for the month of April. Fiesta is definitely a huge party. There's floats on the Riverwalk. I definitely recommend it. Along with Fiesta that is San Antonio specific is First Friday. Every first Friday of the month, there's outdoor restaurants, there's art centers that happen in King William area, especially downtown, and different restaurants have specials on First Friday. Don't forget about the shopping districts. You have North Star Mall, you have La Cantera, you have the 281 corridor, and you have the San Marcos outlets that are close by. You have your sporting centers. You have the Spurs. The Spurs is a great, fun place. It's very close to the downtown area, a little bit more on the east side, but it's very accessible. There's a lot of parking. You can also watch the Missions, which is on the west side of town. Really fun sporting events and definitely not too much of a price, except if it's in the playoffs, then it's very expensive. Nearby San Antonio, you have 2.5 hours away, you have the Third Coast. You have South Padre, you have Corpus, Port Aransas, which is all coastal towns, really beautiful views. And if you go far north, 30 minutes, you're in New Braunfels. There's a music scene, a ton of great restaurants to go to. What's really popular is ice houses. Ice houses are pretty much outdoor restaurant bars that most of them have playgrounds so you can bring your family, can drink outside while your kid's on the playground, drinking a 10-ounce, 20-ounce margarita with an upside-down soda. Big Red is popular here, and it's totally okay. Another don't, this is a bonus don't rely on the public transportation. The buses are not the best. There's really no trains. The trolley goes to a lot of the tourist destinations, but it really doesn't go outside of it. Uber Lyft is definitely popular here, which is great. Please use Uber and Lyft when you're traveling around drinking, because there's a lot of drivers and people rave about how fast they can get the ride sharing applications. My last and most important don't think you can only visit San Antonio. Outside of San Antonio, there's a lot of great towns that have its own culture. You have the north side, which is the far north. It's Bulverde, Spring Branch, Canyon Lake, which is a man-made lake. It's huge, it's beautiful. The northeast side has Schertz, Selma, Garden Ridge, Universal City. Each of those small towns have something to offer. It has a great community feel, great shopping districts. And on the northwest side, you have Helotes, you have Bernie, you have Fair Oaks Ranch, you have the I-10 1604 rim, you have La Cantera, which is a higher end shopping, dining that's very, very popular. The architectural design of La Cantera is definitely something to view that's outside of the city limits. You have the far west side, which is Castroville, Hondo, a little bit of more of a hill country, but there's a lot of beautiful ranches in those areas. You have the far south side, which is Pleasanton, Jordanton. It has a Longhorn Museum that I definitely recommend you check out. You have the far east side, which is Lavernia, Floresville, a lot of very beautiful homes on many acreages that are affordable. Floresville is a little more affordable than Lavernia. Lavernia is a little more expensive because it's closer to the northeast side, the far northeast side of San Antonio. But all these towns are very accessible to San Antonio, and it's really only 15-20 minutes outside of the city limits. These are all the don'ts of San Antonio. Hope this video helped. Please check out my other San Antonio suburb videos. If you know of a different don't that's around San Antonio that you want to tell other people, drop it on the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. I make these videos based on your feedback. If there's something in San Antonio that you heard, please let me know. This is Trey with the Cavalry Group, brokered by Real. Thanks for watching.